Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Detox Diaries. Tonight we're going to talk about emotions and everyday detox hacks. And tonight I have Alice Post, or Cora, joining me. She is Dr. Roni's emotional detox coach. Dr. Roni isn't with us tonight, but she is in her spirit, which is wonderful. So I'm excited to dive into tonight's chat because I think we need to uncover some things that are connected with the detox that maybe you haven't experienced or you're not aware of, or you're not even sure if you want to do it yet, but you may have other signs in your body that are telling you, yes, it's time to do this 21 days. And the perfect time to join is now because on July 11th, the whole group will be doing the 1 year celebration of it. And we are giving this kit away. So make sure you ask for the link to enter. We also have Dr. Ronnie's soup recipe book, which is a digital version for yourself. Oh, it doesn't show up when I do it that way. There is some great recipes in here and ones you'll want to keep handy for the cooler winter nights here in Canada. I do love them. So, welcome, Alice. I'm so glad you could join me today. You and I have had some chances to connect, and I absolutely love connecting with you. And you have a wonderful story. I think what we should do is start with your little story, and you could share out how you came down the avenue of being an emotional detox coach.
Thank you. Thank you, Dodie. Well, my name is Socorro Alicia Post, and for many, many years, I've been known as Alice. But in my own emotional journey and what I'm doing my best to give myself my own medicine, if you will, I discovered that I wanted to go back to my original name, which coincidentally means help. Socorro means help. And I was teased a lot as a child. You can imagine in the 70s, I was probably the only Hispanic on that block or in my classroom. And they couldn't say my name. And it was a lot of teasing with it, right? So when I was suggested to go by my middle name and use Alice, I just opted to just go the easy route, if you will. And now I realize I want my name and I do like my name. So when people can say Socorro, they would say Cora. And I really liked that growing up when I was a little girl. A lot of my cousins that didn't speak Spanish would call me Cora. So I'm doing my best to bring that name back, like on my website and so forth. But when it comes to the emotions, how did I get there? Not I can say Dr. Roni, yes, when I was on the island. The best part was as she got to know me and we talked about a lot of beautiful things and how we see the world and what we would love for the world to have. She says, wow, Alice, you need to be my emotional detox therapist.
Mhm.
People who are either frustrated, scared, anxious, that they're not even able to heal their bodies because of so much anxiety, you can come in. And so that's how that started with the emotional detox therapist. But when you stop to think about a detox, it goes hand in hand. So what I do in my little universe world over here in Yuma, Arizona, I work with a lot of women who come from domestic violence, who come out of it like a deer in headlights, not sure where to go. I was one of them. I actually have a very dear friend who said one time, I never want to see you like that again, Alice. I actually
Aw.
looked like a deer in headlights because I had no clue what to do with my life after a 35-year marriage that ended. Right. So, my point to this is when you want to detox the body, you cannot help but the emotions are going to flood and they need detox. Or you come and say, for example, my students that I have here locally come and say, I just don't know what to do. And I need some clarity. And then I ask them about their diet. So it goes hand in hand. What do you take supplements? What do you do for your body? So
Mhm.
a very important or very used cliche is mind, body, and soul. We say all three, but I think sometimes we forget about one of them. We want to read all the books and get all the information, so we think the brain is already fed what it needs. We go on diets, different fads, thinking we can take care of the body, exercise, increase the protein, all that stuff. What happens to the soul? And the soul
Hmm.
is tied into our emotions. What happens to that energy body? So it does go hand in hand. When you start a detox with your body, the emotions will flood. When you start to detox your emotions, the body's going to start to notice, it's going to start to feel better. It's not going to want to put junk in the body, and so on. So it just depends on where the person is and why they want to do a detox.
So, in saying that, how can you tell if you have stuck emotions in your body?
Oh, the biggest indicator when you start a detox physically, right? All the
Hmm.
liquids, and you're not eating the chocolate and your favorite comfort food. One of them, they're kind of all aligned. I can't pick a favorite. It depends. Everyone is so individual, right? But for the norm, if you see commercials or movies, stereotypical woman sitting on the couch, she just went through a breakup, and what does she go for? The ice cream, right? The comfort eating. She's sad. She feels, especially if she was dumped, right? Uh, but but on the other hand, how do you know? You get very irritable, sensitive, a lot of sensitivity. Maybe something someone would say to you in passing never really bothered you. But at the moment that you're going through a detox and someone says the same phrase or the same words they've said for 20 years, right, especially if it's your partner, it'll hit different. So the emotions are very sensitive. Irritability, I would say, is the first one. Lots of crying, feeling there's something inside that's not right. And so then of course the body reacts with symptoms like flu. Oh, now I'm hurting. I'm going to stop this detox because it's not doing anything for me. And that's where
So,
Roni not being here says it's a healing opportunity. Don't see it like a crisis. See it as an opportunity to heal.
right. So, sorry, I have one more question. If you haven't detoxed and how do I know I need to emotionally detox? That was,
Okay, if you're not detoxing, first and foremost,
and you've never detoxed.
for detox and you're eating the same food, even if it's someone who's eating apples and oranges, which is not in the diet, but I'm saying what they think is healthy, right? Salads and all the right lean proteins, and they're eating a sensible diet, but yet they're full of anxiety,
Okay.
uh, lots of fear, feeling of entrapment, maybe even a lot of issues with your throat. Your thyroid is a first indicator that you have something in there that's blocking that voice and you're not heard. So emotionally, I'm going to speak just for the women right now, but men go through it too. Men
Hmm.
especially are very quiet sometimes and reserved. We women tend to easily speak more, right? That doesn't mean that we don't hold back certain emotions. So if you're noticing things like isolation, and even sensitivity is very high, meaning feelings get hurt. You may have a friend who's been your friend for years, like I said, and you have conversations that you've always had, and you say something, and all of a sudden it's this hurt, this pain. And then it will develop in your body. A lot of people who suffer from fibromyalgia, different things like that. It's really a lot of stored energy, a lot of emotions that maybe they've carried since a child. We don't know when that develops. Everyone is different.
Right. Right. I think you gave the next question answer in that too. Um, what is one simple tool that you can start to processing emotions in a healthy way?
The first simple, free, and available on the spot, unless you have an oxygen tank, is your breath.
Okay.
Most I've noticed in my students and people I've worked with that have cancer, have had cancer, going through very challenging trauma through that process, tend to forget how important the breath is. And so when we stop the commotion, the chaos that's out here, not in your brain, the chaos that surrounds you, and you say, I'm just going to stop and go sit somewhere and be silent. Start just taking a deep breath. And I mean, even listen to the hum of maybe your air conditioning or your fan or the birds outside, whatever noise is around you. And you'll start to pick up on the sensitivity of your hearing, your sight, and your feelings. So when you take a deep breath, that to me is the greatest medicine for anything. You can see a documentary for people who are on death row, people who have killed or especially in the domestic violence, right? You see the beautiful pictures on the walls, all the family pictures, you look so happy. But in one instance, because someone did not just take a breath and stop to think, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Right? To somebody else could just change your whole life. So when it's about you and your emotions, just stop and take a breath and tell yourself, I'm okay. Look around. I'm safe. No one's going to jump in my window right now. There aren't people outside with guns. And in this world today, the way when you watch the news and you see all the current events, seems like the world is falling apart. It can create
Mm.
a lot more anxiety and fears of the future. So just sit with yourself and breathe.
And what would that breath, because I went and had a massage and my girlfriend's like, that's your breath. You're not breathing enough deep enough. And I'm like, but I'm high energy, so I probably breathe like a little bit snippier than I probably should. So how can we engage and know that we're giving ourselves a good breath full of air before releasing it?
Yes. So breathing, when we breathe shallow, when we breathe and we're in a hurry to get out the door looking for the keys, and you're going 100 miles per hour doing 10 things at one time, you don't even notice your breath. You have no
No.
idea that you're breathing. It's just done like on automatic. So again, when you stop to reflect and just say, okay, I know I need to head out that door. I finally found my keys. I have my juice in my hand or whatever, my wallet. Stop and just take a deep breath through your nose and out through the mouth. And it needs to be a conscious deep breath. You don't have to act like, oh my gosh, that kind of deep breath. Just sometimes you can even do such a deep breath sitting, I don't know, in a waiting room or in an elevator, wherever you live. No one's even going to notice that you're breathing. That's how
Okay.
soft you can do it as well. But it's being conscious of your breath, being grateful of the breath, knowing that, okay, I am alive. I have this capability that I've taken for granted because I'm in such a hurry to be there for everybody else that I forget to be there for myself. Right?
Right. Yes. Yes. And when I was doing some research about this topic yesterday and a couple of days before, we always or end up at our doctor's office with these things that we could probably control at our personal level. Oh, see, Casey's a massage therapist, and she says many people breathe from their lung. I can't read it all.
Yeah, from their gut.
And not their diaphragm. And so when I was looking at this, I was reading little things that you could change, like you said, without having to invest money or anything. Like having a nice glass of warm water before your meal. It's going to boost your digestion. It's going to help your stomach acids prepare for the meal that's coming. Sleep. Let's talk about sleep, Alice, because sleep
So,
is darn important to all of us.
well, again, for any of the viewers that have had babies or grandbabies or have ever been around babies, when they don't sleep, what happens? And the mom usually uses this excuse. I remember when my kids were little, I'd hear it among my peers. Oh, my baby's cranky because they didn't get enough sleep. You know, my baby's
Yeah.
didn't get enough sleep. And sleep is actually where we heal as well.
Uh-huh.
The body restores and goes to just relaxation, of course. All of it is so intertwined. So sleeping will help your nervous system, of course. It'll help everything from your digestion, especially if you don't eat too late at night and you're able to sleep. If you eat too late and too heavy, obviously your digestive system is still working. You might be asleep, your eyes may be closed, and you think you shut down the brain, but the body is still working, so you wake up tired. And what happens again when we're tired? Our emotions change. That baby's
Mm.
cranky. You're going to be kind of cranky or moody or sensitive. I like to call it, it's a sensitivity, not like you're sensitive that no one can tell you anything, but you pick things up very soon because all of your nervous system is just like right on the brim of having a breakdown.
Hmm.
That's what
You're
it is.
right. Right.
Mm.
How about sitting in the sun for 15 minutes a day? Let's talk about
Absolutely,
that one.
especially with your feet on the ground. All those rubber soles
Grounding.
not help. Yeah, grounding. Grounding is another one. So again, when the emotions want to run wild, and like you said, not even when you're detoxing. What about if you're a mother of five and you work 10 hours a day and you still have to come home and make dinner and do all this? You don't think that woman's going to be frantic and a little like, where am I? Go outside,
Hmm.
go in the sun, they won't find you. Most mothers try and go to the bathroom, they'll find you there. Go out, go outside and just sit out there. And here in Arizona, the sun is out every day almost, right? So it's a very easy thing to do. But another thing that I also want to suggest, talking about grounding, when you ground yourself, meaning, put your feet on that dirt and re kind of just, it's kind of plugging in like your cell phone, you plugging into the earth, right? But when you asked earlier, what is another simple tool? Or coming up with a whole bunch of really great things that we can do for ourselves. But one thing about the emotions that I think is very important is not to run from them.
That is a good one actually, because I do
Uh,
have a friend. I have a
yeah.
few people that run from them.
Hmm. And you'll know right away. You're sitting and chatting with a friend, a sister, a family member, someone, your children. And the moment you hit a soft spot, the moment that it's something very, again, the word sensitive to them, or that the emotions are going to come, they don't want to cry, especially some mothers that are single and carry both weights of the male and the female, tend to want to be more masculine because they know they can't give a foothold, right, to that child. Then what happens to their emotions? They get bottled up. I don't want them to see me cry, or the child doesn't want to open up to the mother, or whatever situation it is. Most of society, especially now that everything's out there on Facebook, sometimes people don't feel comfortable sharing. They don't feel comfortable being vulnerable, but that's where you heal. When you touch on the vulnerability and embrace that moment that you're in a dark place with anxiety of the future, fear of the future, depression about the past that I can't change, what's going on inside of me, and all of these flood inside of the head, and nobody else outside knows it's going on. But someone might say something that triggers and they run,
Mm.
or they go for help and they're with a therapist of some sort, and the moment that they have to open up, something comes up, they cancel the appointments. It's life. I have something else I need to do, and they forget about themselves. So instead of running, I usually invite my students to embrace, sit with it, feel the pain. It's okay. Feel the
Mhm.
anguish. Don't run from it, because eventually you will be so grateful. You will see that as the best friend, if you will. That pain carried you through your life so that you can get to a point of transformation that comes from a very deep place. And you will never see that place as dark or as my enemy or the worst thing I did in my life. No, because it was a stepping stone to get to a better place.
That is true.
Mhm.
Another one I found was chew slowly and eat mindfully.
Of course. And no TV.
No TV while
Oh,
you eat.
no TV, no other distractions. Chew your food with intention. Again, for the process of digestion, of course, but also the gratitude. And I mean, sometimes it's not easy. I try it every so often, but I'll tell you, I'm the first to either, oh, go check something on my phone, or let me catch up with this while I'm munching on something. I catch myself. And that's an
Mhm.
emotions. When you catch yourself on a habit that you want to break, instead of beating yourself up, be thankful that you caught it. You've been doing it for years. At least now you're aware of it, right?
Mhm.
just the awareness itself sometimes alleviates a lot of the stress.
That's
Oh,
true.
I wanted to touch on Dodie earlier when you said about how we're told to go in the sun and what things to do. And even doctors now are using other alternative methods, right? One thing that helped me with my story in my life is
Hmm.
I ran across, and I don't even know where, it's all over the place. And I'm sure you've heard doctors in the general field say stress is the number one killer. Stress is the number one reason we have disease, correct?
Yeah.
When I heard that, I had the most celebratory dance that I was like, I told my husband, did you hear that? We were both like looking at each other. Did you hear that? This is insane that a physical medical doctor is telling us your stress is killing you. Your stress is causing disease. Hello. What is stress? Who caused the stress? We did. Our brain did with the stories and stories that we tell ourselves over and over. I can't do this. I can't do that. They don't love me. Nobody cares about me. I'm going to be alone the rest of my life. All of these stories that run through our heads, we create the stress. Am I going to be able to pay my rent? Am I going to be able to pay my car? Who's going to love me? Oh, that person didn't approve of my post, stuff like that. We create the stress. So, what does that say? If we created it in our head and it took residence in our body and we start to shut down and now our heart hurts and our back hurts and everything is hurting, then we have the key, not the doctors, not the prescriptions. They said it very clearly. If that is the number one cause of disease, then reverse it. Reverse engineer. Stop worrying. Go to the things like grounding, getting in the sun, listening, meditating, detoxing, of course, right? So when we start doing that, do we need, and no offense to any doctors, yes, we need them. I know that. My Chinese doctor told me that, Alice, we need doctors, yes. Because if Humpty Dumpty fell off that wall and he needs to be put back together, who's going to do it? We have an accident, we need immediate care. That's the difference between healing. There's repairing, there's restoring, there's cutting open and removing or putting that leg back together or the hip or those are different types of medical practices. But to heal, that's a very heavy word. And in this society, I know we're not allowed to say, oh, I can heal this or we can heal that. We don't say that loosely. We don't have a license to be a doctor. However, the opportunity, it's not a healing crisis, it's an opportunity to heal. So
Hmm.
so when I heard that article, I'm going to look for that video. The doctor that was speaking said, stress is the number one leader. So if we deal with the stress, we can take care of our bodies. In my
And
humble opinion.
but as humans, we're designed to always think the negative instead of going the positive way, correct? So it is, you do have to spend time learning how to train your mind to think like that, right?
Programming, Dodie. There's a programming. And in the way that I help my students, the first thing I tell them, I need you to clear your mind of the negative and the positive.
Oh, to
What
clear to both.
clear them both. What's negative for you, Dodie? Let's just say you're allergic to sweet potatoes. And you're like, oh no, Alice, don't you ever make me a juice of sweet potato because I'm going to break out in hives. But to me, sweet potatoes is milky and it feeds my soul and it takes care of my bones and it does so much for me. What's good for me wasn't good for you. What's bad for you isn't bad for me. So there's no negative or positive. When we learn to be neutral and not judge, oh, well, that's bad. Oh, but that's good. You know that even too much of a good thing isn't good for you. Too much of a
Yeah.
good, getting too much in that pendulum of I'm on such a high and I'm also happy. It's great to be happy. But if you're neutral, then when things come, because life will bring things that can knock you down, it won't knock you down as far because you're not dependent on that always being in the happy spot. If that makes sense.
Yes.
It's good. Like I'm a very happy person. I love my life. And I always say, this is one thing that I love to share. I choose to be happy because it's good for my health. It's a choice. I choose,
Mhm.
right? Doesn't mean that everything in my life is going the way I want it. Nope, not at all. I just got back from the mechanic again for like the 10th time, and they can't find what's wrong with my car. And I've invested more than $1,900 in fixing this car. And as soon as I pull in the driveway, without turning it off, it turns off on its own. And it's been
Oh
doing
no.
since I was abandoned or stuck over in Page with my daughter. So again, is everything great in my life? No. But am I happy? Yes. That's
Yeah.
is having the coping mechanisms for when life throws at you this curveball. You either know how to get out of the way or you know how to catch it.
Hmm.
So that's all
Right.
it is. You're right. We are all human and we're programmed, Dodie, a certain way that we think it has to be positive or negative. And if it's negative, I don't want it. Hmm. No, that really makes you strong.
Well, I live with Mr. Negative Pants. He's like, oh, look at this. Every light I get to turns red. And I'm like, I don't think you're looking at it right. It's making you slow down and breathe. So,
Yeah.
or
It's all
it's
about,
making you get your frustrations out before you get to work. I'm not sure.
yeah.
So,
It's all over the place. It's all over
yeah,
the place, even in the, obviously in the news, which I don't watch, but I'm not against. And the only kind of news I get is whatever I see on Facebook. That's as much as I will listen to it. But do I know what's happening? Do I feel it?
yes.
Vibration. Another thing very important is your vibration. So
Hmm.
think this is old news. Dr. Roni has said this before. They'll say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. She goes, don't believe it, Alice. I have so many stories of what I did on that island thinking I was all cool. And hey, Dr. Roni, look what I bought today. And I come home with these melons. She goes, Alice, that's not on the Pevy. I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay, let's give it to the driver. Let's give it to somebody else. But my point is, you might bite into an apple or you serve yourself the most delicious salad full of greens and all the protein. And you're like, wow, this is so good. But you're angry as heck, you're depressed, you're sad, you're frustrated, you're disappointed, and you're eating that salad, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'd rather be having a pizza, but I'm eating this. Well, all of a sudden your vibration really doesn't match the life that's in that food, right? All of
Right.
a sudden, as soon as it goes into your body, it's acidic. It turns into
Hmm.
stomach acids are already twirling around with all the frustration. Can you just sit down? Or you have all these kids all over the place, or the husband, right? Or whatever. Um, or how about this? You feel happy today. You took a long walk. You played with your puppy. You felt like all these endorphins and you're so happy and joyful about something. But all of a sudden you're walking by an ice cream shop and you're like, I know it's not on my diet, but I want an ice cream cone. And you eat it with all the gratitude and you remember your mm, it's not going to hurt you as much. And because it's not something you eat every day, but you wanted that treat. But how are you eating it? Everything is your vibration inside. How do you vibrate? Are you always complaining about everything? And the mind doesn't pick it up as complaining. You have to really be aware of your breathing, your surroundings to notice that it really is complaining. When you start catching yourself, that's where I tell my students, no beating yourself up. Go ahead and celebrate. I just caught myself. I just complained about something. Oh my goodness. No, it's not like you're a bad person. I'm catching these patterns that I want to break. That's all it is.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
That's all it is.
Building your awareness.
Yeah.
So, in saying that, keeping your gut healthy will definitely keep you on a better um, road to dealing with your emotions, correct?
Everything is so intertwined. You can't have one without the other. The emotions hurt everything. And even on these different charts, like in the Chinese medicine, which is what I used when I had cancer, um, the doctor told me very simply, Alice, if you stay in the same environment, in the same situation, it doesn't matter how many herbs, how many needles I put in you, it doesn't matter what I do, that cancer will come back in another way. It'll manifest in another way, but it'll come
Mm.
back because you're still in the same environment. Your body is still in flight and fight and all these things that cause havoc in our body.
Can you
So
explain fight and flight mode because I think and I see it in younger people a lot more. Like I'm talking little people. My stepdaughter struggled with it for many years.
Well, that one is a very deep one, and I'll tell you why, because the way, and this is just my humble opinion, again, everyone that's listening to this, either now or weeks from now or years from now, they find this video, just know that this is my humble opinion. Always research yourself. Always do not ever, ever believe everything that I say. Feel it again in your gut. Know it, okay?
Mhm.
I and I believe this form of healing is because of what I went through, and it worked for me. So if it worked for me, I'm not going to try and change it. It's what I believe, right? So when creation, and if you go as far back as you want to go, even I'm not even going to go that far back, even just the 50s or the 30s, and we didn't have TV or we didn't have all that. Children did more activities that were outside, right? I played up
Correct.
70s till the lights came on, right?
Mhm.
So then the way that our bodies were developed when the hunter went out to hunt, it needed to know, it needed to be very still. That hunter could not be jibber jabbering with his partner too much, or they'd lose
Right.
their kill and they couldn't eat. So their bodies learned to stay still, to stay quiet, to be able to shoot and aim and hit it so they'll have food. Now, if they were caught off guard and they did something jam, they had to run. So,
Hmm.
but it was only for an instant, right? They either climbed a tree or they made it to another guy that was down the road, or they made it home, whatever. Our bodies were made, the way our environment created our bodies to adjust, that was then. But now we act as if a saber-toothed tiger or a lion or something is chasing us all the time. And it's not.
Right. And it's
We
not.
act as if. And I can't recall the name of the book, but when I find it, I'll put it in the chat. There's this book that this lady wrote. She was in a concentration camp, and she had the most loving vibration and experience. And she said, someone who is told you have cancer and you're going to die is going to react a certain way, like they're facing death, right? They don't know what to do. It's scary. Then here's the other person that just bought a new car, and their car was keyed. Someone just went through it and just put this big old line all the way across the car. That person that just got that car is going to feel the same way as the person who was just told to have cancer. And it's no way near as devastating, but to her it was. We've been conditioned that if things don't go our way, the things that we want, the things that matter to us, either in the material or the emotional, don't go our way, we enter into this panic mode. Or you're being abused for a very long time and you don't have a voice. You're in fight or flight. You got to survive. So that
Hmm.
body is always like 100 miles per hour. You may not notice it. Like with me, I was a very quiet girl, and I'd sit and I'd observe everything. And I'd always put my hands like this. This is how I would sit. And sometimes I still do it when I'm on video. I catch it. I'd be like this.
Oh.
Because when I was in this marriage, when I got married at 16, and the first thing I learned is if you speak out of place, you're going to get beat. Let me tell you, my body learned really quick to survive. And so that I wouldn't actually speak out of place, cover my mouth.
Mm.
Yeah. Now I just do this. Sometimes now I just,
Well, now we can
hey,
see your smile.
catch myself. So that's what it does to your body. You're in fight or flight. Either you're going to feel that you're being attacked. Someone doesn't like the color of your sweater and tells you, oh my gosh, that's the ugliest green. Ah, although I love green. Let me tell you, it's my favorite
Oh,
color.
in Saskatchewan, everyone loves green.
Yeah. But again, someone says something like that. If you have any emotions that are penned up in your world, in your universe inside your head, you're going to say, oh my God, I'm never going to wear this sweater again. Why would they not like my sweater? Right? You tend to be on this, it goes deep. It goes deep, Dodie, but
Yes.
it affects everything. It affects everything and everything that we are. In Spanish, or our doctor, I think he has the captions, but there's a saying in Spanish. I'll try and translate it in English. It says, every head is a world. Cada cabeza es un mundo. Meaning every head, every brain has its own little universe. And in your universe, Dodie, you see yourself the way you see yourself. Then out
Hmm.
or we see you different, right? We see you.
Mhm.
So that helps with the emotions. When someone points a finger at you or does a judgment call, remember it's not you, it's their pain. They're speaking from their perception. So they're going to probably sometimes be mean or a little insensitive or not kind, like, you're going to eat that again? I thought you were on a diet. Right? You get those kind of phrases trying to lose weight. It hurts a little bit, but it's
Yeah.
probably they haven't lost the weight either. And they're thinking, why can she eat that? And it's a circle. But it really, really remember that anytime you feel that flight or fight, that attack kind of thing coming towards you, it's their perception. You don't own it.
Mhm.
It's not yours.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, Alice, what I was thinking is we could open up for questions right now. Claudia, are
Absolutely.
you able to open it up?
Okay, thank you, Alice. That was
Yes.
wonderful. And I'm going to open up the mics.
That's
Um,
wonderful. Thank you, Claudia.
and I'm actually going to take you both off since we're on Facebook Live.
Great.
I think what we'll do is if somebody feels uncomfortable of being live on Facebook, they can um, you know,
Put it in the chat.
put it in the chat and say, I would prefer to address this after, and then we can turn it off in 10 minutes. But maybe some of the questions we do want them on the Facebook Live. That way, some people that are watching, or like Alice said, one day in Facebook world and the world, somebody might need what we're saying. So we're not going to cut the live just yet. If you feel uncomfortable with the Facebook Live and you do have a question, put it in the chat. Say, I prefer to talk about this in 5 minutes. So we're going to do 5 minutes more of Facebook Live. And then we'll cut the live feed. And after that, you can have a more private one-on-one. And if you feel that you really want to address it completely privately, Alice is a emotional detox coach, and you can book private one-on-one time with her in different forms. So let's start. Who has a question? Casey, is that? Oh no, that's my own hand over Casey's face. That was my own little Facebook hand. Um, you do? Do you have something to say, Casey? I actually had my hand on your face, and so I thought you were raising your hand. So, but if you have something
Sure,
to say, please do.
I will ask. Um, so when we're in these situations in our lives that our lives have basically become unmanageable, um, our emotions get in the way. And I have found, um, I've been really seeking out some things in my own life. Um, what does Alice, what do you think of EMDR therapy? Have you ever had that, and do you practice that?
No, I do not. I don't practice. That's a good question because I've been asked a lot of what do I practice? And if you heard what I said about all the time finding things outside of ourselves, tools are great. Don't get me wrong. Massages, oh my gosh, those are probably the best things, which is what you do, correct?
Yes.
Yes. That touch is very important and it helps us to get rid of a lot of toxins. What I do in my practice is I invite people to just go within themselves. People use crystals, people use oils. I use essential oils a lot. Juicing, our detoxing, right? Our supplements. But everything that's external is only for a moment and it really won't deal deeply, deeply within what is clogged up in those emotions. Some people go back to when they're 4 years old and they don't even know it though. This is the interesting thing. People walk around not knowing, right? Just like people walk around not knowing that they have maybe a bowel obstruction until it's too late or they go to the emergency room. We walk around with so much toxic stuff in our gut, right? But in our emotional body, in our hearts, in that brain where you create the stories, there's a lot of stuff that's in there from something that might have happened when someone's 7 or 3 or 5 or 10. and they don't even know until they start doing this work. So I do not practice anything else, like even Reiki, I don't practice or any of those modalities, but do I care about them and do they help to get you to the point? Yes. Yes, it does.
That's awesome. Casey, just a quick question. How many people do you notice when you're massaging? What percentage would not be using their capacity of their lungs properly or their breathing properly? It's probably scary. It's probably like how many women don't wear the right size bra, right?
All of them don't wear the right size bra. I teach them. I learned that to wear the right size bra is to go to this place and I got measured. And the way she
Yeah.
measured me was incredible. I never in my entire life have been measured that way. But I got it and it was like, okay, rabbit chase.
Sorry about
So
that.
yeah, I know that was kind of, I would say 3 and 5
Oh,
may
so that's
not.
pretty high.
Yeah, that's high. That's high. Um, and I will tell them, like, I before I do the massage, I look at them and I critique them, and um, if they have a gait issue, I will say walk that way and walk towards me. I honestly, um, and when they're doing that, I'll watch how they breathe, and I'll say, when you breathe, you can tell that they're breathing from their lungs and not their diaphragm. Because if you see a person breathing, they're not breathing right because they're not breathing from their diaphragm.
Right. Right. I work at a spa and boutique, and I'll get them walking by me and going straight your back, your shoulder, breathe. And then midday, I do a stretch because they've been doing stretches with everyone coming out of the room. I love it, but it's definitely an interesting uh, how our body reflects what we're feeling in our posture and our breath, everything. So it's very interesting. So, did we have any more questions? Oh, there's some chat in there. Just giving some love to Alice. She's amazing.
Yeah, we don't have any more questions, but I do want to ask are there any new guests that are here for the first time? Because I know Helena Ayala had invited lots of people. And I also want to say hello to Bernadette Douglas, which I think this is one of her first talks
Oh, welcome.
in the detox calls. So I'm glad that she's here. And if she wants to comment on something, that would be great because she's also a wellness coach and she's running also her 5-day detox challenge starting today, which it's great. So Bernadette, if you have anything to comment, feel free. If not, I don't want to put you in the spot. You can take off your mic. And uh-huh.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Claudia. This was great. Alice, I mean, everything you said is just resonates with me because it's exactly how, I mean, like everything, everything that you said is what I teach to my clients pretty much. It's about body, mind, and soul. It's about um, making sure you're at the right vibration to bring in the positive and let go of the negative. It's just great to be in the space and hear all of this because again, it's my tribe, it's my people. So thank you very much. And I know there's a few people on here who are part of my challenge. Today was the first day, and you should have received a video telling you what to do today. So if you didn't, just send me an IM and I'll let you know. I'll just make sure that, you do receive the video if you did not receive it for any reason. And then there's also a Facebook page with tips as well on what to do. And I don't know where you guys are all over the country, but I am in the East Coast right now, and we have a heat wave. It is really, really hot and humid. I know it is where you are too, Claudia, because I shared
Yeah.
with my mom. Yeah, so it's just unbelievable hot here. It's just
It's
we went from like
we're in
yeah.
heat, yeah. So Alice is at like 115 probably right now, but for Canadians or Upper Coast, uh, it's very hot for us. Like our body is not used to this heat. So you might say, oh, it's only 42 Celsius, which I don't know how much that is in Fahrenheit.
Oh,
It's not even
it's like
close to what Alice is at, but it's hot, Alice. It's hot
yeah,
for
it's in
us.
the 90s. Yeah.
So
Well, the difference, I think Alice is in Arizona, and that's a
Arizona.
dry heat. It's humid here, so um, that I think the humidity makes it worse
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
you're sticky and it's just ugh, you don't want to be
Yeah.
outside at all. So
People faint. So thank you, Bernadette. She is my
mhm.
newest member, so I'm happy to introduce her to the
Welcome.
Thank you,
crowd and the tribe, like she
thank you.
says, because I have known her mom for 24 years. Actually, her mom has been with me in for life for pretty much since I started. So like she was one of my first people to sign up. So I'm happy that Bernadette is finding her way here with the same language and just, finding that there are a lot of people with this. So we have Dr. Burnett in Spanish said, Dr. Burnett also, I wish he spoke more English because he's amazing. People in the Spanish teams love him. He says, thank you, very interesting, the talk, because it includes emotions, because we are body, mind, and spirit. So thank you, Dr. Burnett. And Krista is asking about For Life shirts. This one was from one of my trips to Colombia. So pretty much all my t-shirts I have gotten on a trip, Krista. So win a trip or, go on a trip, because Alice has the Utah one. And so if you have a shirt, you've probably been like in one of the For Life trips, but you can also have them made, Krista. So feel free to have your own t-shirt made. I have a lot of custom made that Gabi has given me for recognition and as a just sending me love. So, and oh yes, sorry, and the shop, Casey, in the US, you're right, in the US, you can actually get them in the For Life shop, and you can get a cool hat. It's Nike and it says For Life. I love how it fits. It's really good. So I'm going to turn off the live, and thank you, Facebook
Just
friends.
before we leave, Claudia, let's
We're
give
not leaving yet.
Alice,
I'm turning off the live. You want to keep the
well, I
live
just
on?
would like her to give us two great things that we can incorporate, two habits to incorporate daily
Let me spotlight
as
her.
we move towards the detox.
Okay, your spotlight and your Facebook
Okay.
live.
Two important things before you start the detox. Start, if you haven't yet, this is one very important. Start drinking a lot of water. You'll
Okay.
notice, find out that you do not drink enough water. So start with that. So the body gets used to it. You're going to be going, to the bathroom a lot. So you need that water, and get yourself a journal. Please
Mm.
write down every little thing. You'll be happy you did when you go back at the end of 21 days and then some, right? Because you may want to continue with your journey. You will be amazed at the growth and the things that come up when things that come up physically, emotionally, uh, and I'm talking even things that come up that you can't keep down, right? When you're detoxing and everything, write everything down. You are such a beautiful story. You have such a beautiful heart. And when you write your experience, it's such a treasure. So please make sure you get a fun journal. It could be any kind of notebook that you like, maybe the kind you used when you were in junior high, or just buy a cute, I don't know, make your own, but keep a journal.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Dodie. I do have one more question, not
Sure.
question, but can you remind us the start date for July?
It's July 11th.
Okay.
So that is I don't know
Okay.
what day of the
And,
week
and so
it
the
is.
reason we started July 11, number one, July 1st is Canada Day, July 4th is, Independence American Day. And we just thought to give you some time to get the kits. And in some countries, it takes about 7 to 10 days to arrive. So we kind of just thought, second week will be great to start. However, if you want to start early, I'm starting a little bit early. You can flex it and start early. We're here to support your journey on the 21-day detox, Dr. Roni Detox. And the question I kind of had, it was between a question and a comment, is if you have done another detox or another challenge, feel free to ask safely if you can start a second one. And in my opinion, I just did I'm on my day 11 of my reset detox. And in my, again, humble opinion, I would have to ask Dr. Burnett, but I'm testing with my own body. I feel that it's okay what I did, which was for the first time, try the fiber-based system, which you can still eat, because I thought that was great. It kind of worked like a PEVI, and I am decreasing all my
Toxin.
yeah, and I'm decreasing on my flour stuff, wheat,
Oh,
and
okay. I see
so
what you
I'm
mean.
eating a lot less. And it's a little bit different. It's just, and I'm gonna jump right into the Dr. Rani detox. But I think I've been really good because it's the Reset Digest for Life. I'm doing it in June, and I said for the first time I'm gonna do one back to back. So I feel personally, it's like I said, it's my personal test. I feel that it worked well because since I'm still having food, I'm just kind of using it as a elimination, kind of like what Alice did, like a PEVI slash elimination. Um, I don't want to call it diet, but it kind of works like a diet, which is I'm slowing and easing into my 21-day preparation so that I don't jump right into it, which is really what people sometimes do. And that's when it becomes a little harder. Alice is, wonderful at explaining this because she did 2 weeks or 3 weeks of PEVI, lost about 20 pounds even before she started her own Dr. Rani 21-day detox. Then she lost another 20 pounds. So for a total of 40 plus pounds, but she did so I'm trying to replicate what Alice did, which is slow
Mm.
down and cut down on the food, cut down. So I'm not saying for people to do what I did. I'm just saying that sometimes people have done something and they want to ask, can I do the July reset? And yes, it depends on your body, but hey, we have doctors. Dr. Burnett can check you out. I can translate, Dr. Ronnie can check you out. Dr. Regina, we got doctors that you can go to. Definitely, we recommend you start with the owner of the program, which is Dr. Rani, and book an appointment with her. She has a really flexible system that Dodie helped her choose. But if you need somebody in Spanish, we got
So
doctors.
Bernadette asked, does the detox diet die? Meaning what to eat. I'm not sure what that means. Sorry, Bernadette.
You can unmute. Hold on. There we go. Oh, I gotta jump out. I'll leave you guys.
Okay.
Bernadette, you can unmute. I'm just gonna let her
Are
unmute.
you going to stop the streaming? Oh, Bernadette, you're
No,
still? Okay.
I'll open the other room. I think she can. Let me see.
You're still muted.
Let me give her a co-host. See what happened here. You can unmute. Yeah, allow participants to unmute. Everything is good on your side. And we force.
There we go. No, sorry. Does the detox diet does the detox include a diet like what you should eat? That's what I should have made. Does it include like
Yes.
what?
So
Yeah.
everything that's behind me is
Mhm.
your program. So you're consuming a red juice, an orange juice, and then you're going to make your green juice. We provide you with the soup recipes and a broth, and then it's a lot of water in there too. Plus, you're going
Mhm.
to consume the prebiotics, the super detox, the digestive enzymes, and the aloe vera. And then after you've done your 21 days, we gradually incorporate the fruit food so that your body doesn't go into shock. Like we don't want you rushing out for a steak on day 22. We like you to start with simple things, just chewing because you gave your digestive tract a break completely. So we've had great results with it. Dr. Roni bases the program on her book, The 21 Pounds in 21 Days. But everybody's body's different, right? We're not cookie cutters. So some have lost. Ellis had great results. Helena's had great results. The first time I did it, I dropped 17 pounds in the 21 days. So, and then after that, you are given the PEVI diet,
Mhm.
which walks you, and you can live on that all forever if you wanted to. It's so simple to follow. Yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
you're very welcome. Thank you for asking. Thank you, Ellis, for being an amazing co-host tonight. Thank you, Claudia, for being behind the scenes lady. And thank you, everyone else, for joining me tonight. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Send me some suggestions on what you want to see next week. I would love to hear some. You can private message me or find me on Facebook because you know that's where I am. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Helena.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.